time running out on Indiana Fever HC as Caitlin Clark's injury triggers national reporters' rallying locker room cry. Caitlin Clark's fine sophomore journey was recently disrupted by a left quadricep strain. As someone who averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 9.3 assists in the regular season so far, Clark has shown an exponential growth since her rookie year. She even surpassed wnba Liberty veteran Sabrina Ionescu and became the player with the most 25-plus points and 10-plus assists in one game. And as the perfect run of 185 consecutive games, including her college days, comes to a sudden halt, so does Indiana Fever's hopes of clinching the 2025 championship title. Now she's going to see it on the sideline. She's going to be hearing us talk about it on the sideline from a coach's perspective. It gives her an opportunity to see it from a different lens. On the other hand, head coach Stephanie White considered Clark's injury to be a boon in disguise. With Caitlin sitting on the bench now, White rallied the fact that Clark can assess the team's gameplay and get a different perspective of the game instead of that from the hardwood. Clark can now make her own observations, an improved vision, and different insights on how to overcome the team's shortcomings and lift the team upon resuming the games after a good 2-week rest. Even from the bench, Clark's been a vocal presence, chatting with teammates during practice and sharing notes on what she's seeing. Her leadership off the court is still a big part of the Fever spirit, but it's tough to replace her playmaking magic on the floor. And while the team heavily relied on Clark's offenses and built around it, national reporter points out that now is the time when Indiana Fever can focus on improving defense strategies. Highlighting the team's need to focus on improving the on-court defense, national reporter Rose Gold-Onwood shared on the latest episode of the Goodfellow podcast. I think with overall, it's going to be a continued work in progress on the Fever's defense. They've got to continue to get serious about it, and especially if, perhaps you lose some offensive power, then you've got to get even better on defense. And that's been the talking point since training camp from Stephanie White. Despite Fever HC's concern on the team's defensive strategies, the team is left with no choice but to buckle up and run a solid defensive gameplay while they lose out on offensive power. Which player recently surpassed Tina Thompson to become third on the wnba all-time scoring list? To make this happen, Coach White has been drilling the team on pick-and-roll defense and pushing the guards and forwards to talk more on the floor. But with new faces like Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham still settling in, it's been a bumpy ride trying to get everyone in sync. And with Clark out of the picture, the Fever fans and reporters were hoping Aaliyah Boston to take the reins and lead the team. With a history of strong partnership between the two center guard players, it was only natural that Boston cover the offenses. In fact, as White signed Sydney Colson and upgraded Cunningham to replace Clark's position, Boston gets more bolstered aid from the guards. And in doing so, the team gets a hand at improving their defenses to a great extent. The 2 weeks of Clark's absence can aid the team in working on their defenses and backcourt depth, while the offense is already pretty much taken care of. Or so we thought. Unfortunately, the team delivered one of its worst performances against the Washington Mystics on Thursday. The young Mystics team, led by Brittany Sykes with 21 points and 9 rebounds as rookie Kiki Ariafin added 16 points, packed the paint, and dared the rest of the Fever to shoot. They snatched every shooting opportunity from Boston, who could only attempt 5 shots in 29 minutes, a heartbreaking contrast when compared to her 19-shot explosion against the Liberty as White's strategy fell flat, since neither Colson nor Cunningham have what it takes to become Caitlin Clark. I think a lot of this too comes from may need time to mesh and gel like this is normal. There were a lot of new faces, Rose added. But one face that I've kind of got my attention on that's new to this team is Duwana Bonner. However, Duwana Bonner rose to the occasion and averaged 21 points as Boston contributed 7 rebounds, and Kelsey Mitchell added 4 dimes to the losing roster. And with a 77-83 score across the board and still more games to go, seems like the Fever needs a magic wand to upscale the performances as time keeps slipping away. The team's got a tough road ahead, with games against playoff hopefuls like the Seattle Storm and Las Vegas Aces looming. Clark's expected back by mid-June, according to the team's medical staff, but every loss now stings a bit more as the Fever fight to stay in the playoff race.